We be different.
Grace, peace, and blessings to you all. Welcome back to another edition of the Be For Real Show. I'm your host, Brother Brooks. I'm glad to have you back with us. Look, Pride Month is over. Now we're in July. But who was it that actually won this Pride Month? This Pride Month was a battle between good and evil, as it always is. We had Jesus Pride Month going on, and we also had the LGBTQ Pride Month going on. LGBTQ plus XYZ, whatever it is nowadays. All of that was going on, but it kind of didn't go exactly how they planned for it to go this time around. Some interesting things occurred this particular June of 2023. Let's take a look.
The president used his radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
You know, think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here? And
So this is the funniest thing about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is, as much as he is one of the most unsuccessful, to say the least, politicians as far as it goes with popularity, right? Successful in the sense that he's been a politician for well over 30 years, 30, 40 years, right? But one thing about this guy, as sneaky and as slimy as he is, many times, and not just in his later years that we're experiencing right now, some of the gaffes that he commits on an almost daily basis. I mean, the guy can barely string together coherent thoughts many times when he's interviewed or when he is giving a speech. But one thing about Joe Biden is he tends to say the quiet part out loud many times. This is why you'll hear him nowadays saying, oh, well, I better not say that because I'm going to get in trouble, or I'm going to get in trouble for what I just said later on, or they told me I shouldn't say this. But he says these things anyway. Now, the media tries to spin it and make it seem like, oh, he just had a old person moment, or they laugh off every single gaffe that he commits. Now, had his last name been Trump, he couldn't misspell a word, mispronounce a word, nothing. And they be talking about it wall-to-wall, 24-hour coverage on the news for weeks, trying to get the American people to see that this particular person is unfit to serve in office. Now, Joe Biden just said something in this particular clip. He said back then, now I believe this was 2007, 2008, when this clip was taken. He said that marriage is between a man and a woman. Furthermore, he went on to say, why do we even need to entertain pushing additional laws for gay unions and gay rights? This is out of the mouth of Joe Biden. Look, like I told people before, this guy has not changed. He has always been a racist. And I really don't put that racist term on everyone. Maybe we'll call him an unaware racist because he says things at times that he has to look back and say, oh, well, I shouldn't have said that. or I didn't mean to offend you by saying that. This is just who he is. Again, he says the quiet part out loud. He tells the truth unintentionally, but he just told you right there that marriage is between a man and a woman, and there is no need for us to be pushing legislation. There's no need for us to be pushing amendments and laws for the LGBT community or to support gay marriage. Now, this at that particular time was in slight opposition to something that his hero, Mr. Obama, also said. We're gonna jump right into that. Man, for those of you who thought that Joe Biden was all in for your struggle, all in for your fight, this is who this guy really is. This is Joe Biden in the flesh. If Joe Biden is propping up gay pride and gay marriage nowadays, it is for a reason. He is trying to score political points so that he can get votes. That is how this thing works. You find an angle, you attack that angle, which is something that they do to black people quite often. It's called pandering. You know what it is, but you try to ignore it. And it's partly your fault that we're in this position that we're in and we're stuck with Joe Biden right now. All right. Now, if you thought that last one was crazy, I hate to burst a few of your bubbles, but this is your boy, President Obama, and he's also talking about gay marriage. 2008, right here. President Obama is going to tell some truth. Now, here's the thing about Obama. I voted for Obama his first term. Little backstory. I voted for him because I was not educated on politics back then. One. Two, I just really didn't care. But the main reason I voted for President Obama his first term is because he was black, right? Now, that was a foolish reason to waste my vote, but I'm just admitting, hey, I was uneducated. I didn't know anything about politics at that time. But I have to say thanks to Obama, because it was him that made me start to really do my research on everything that was really going on in politics and the political sphere as a whole. It was him that caused me to do it. But the second reason why I voted for President Obama is because he portrayed himself to be a Christian man. He always talked about his Christian faith. Well, let me just let you hear what he had to say, and then you'll kind of get where I'm coming from on why President Obama had me fooled as well from the jump.
Define marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian, for me as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. God's in the mix.
Interesting.
Would you support a constitutional amendment with that definition?
No,
Listen.
I would not.
Why not?
And because historically we have not defined marriage in our Constitution. It's been a matter of state law. That has been our tradition. I am not somebody who promotes same-sex marriage, but I do believe in civil unions. I do believe that we should not, that for gay partners to want to visit each other in a hospital, for the state to say, you know what, that's all right. I don't think in any way inhibits my core beliefs about what marriage are.
All right. So a couple of things, right? First and foremost, you kind of see where I'm going with this, how he kind of had me duped, right? He gave me the impression that he was all about family and Christianity, marriage as it should be. So he fooled me right off the bat, right? But I started to see a sharp turn for President Obama. This is why I didn't vote for him the second time around. And what puzzled me back in those days was during all of this, I was kind of looking around at everybody else who obviously looked like me. And I'm asking the question to people, like, don't y'all see what's going on here? Don't y'all see that he has completely switched up his angle? He's completely switched up his plan of attack for the second go around before the election. And this is something that I started to, well, really, I say about 2 years before the election is when he really started pushing this whole gay agenda that he really unleashed on the American people in the form of gay marriage, right? So as I'm looking around and I'm noticing that it seems no one else is either aware of what he's saying, paying attention, or many of us just didn't care. This is kind of where we fall short when it comes to politics, because for many of us, the Black community is voting for the Democratic Party at a clip of over 90%. And that's been for decades, right? Now, we haven't really got any benefits from voting for that particular party. There has been some changes that have been made over the years. I will say that being Black in America in 2023 is the best that any person of color, I hate using that term, has had it in America in our history. But this person pulled the wool over many people's eyes, so much so to the fact of where we only focused on how he looks, how he speaks, how his family looks. And many of the uninformed Black community will say, well, this was the only president in many years that wasn't involved in any scandals. And to that, I would say, do your research. Really look up who President Obama is. Look into his background. Look into his history. I don't fault anyone for questioning his birth certificate. See, they won't even let you ask questions. When red flags pop up and you say, well, hey, should I attempt to do a little investigating? Should I dig a little bit deeper to find out who this person actually is, what they're actually about? No, don't dig any deeper, because if you want to do research on this Black man, this first Black president, and I used to hear people say all the time, oh, they just don't want to let him do nothing because he Black. Every time he tried to do something, the Republicans stop him. And I kind of used to buy into that. But when I learned the truth that this is a very smart man, I will give him that. Very bright individual. He is as cunning as Satan himself, if you ask me, because he knows exactly how to fool people to get them to follow him. He is the Democratic golden boy. And I'll tell you like this here, there's a lot that you're going to learn if you just take a little bit of time and do a little bit of research into the Obamas and his presidency. But it starts with when you see red flags like the one that I saw in 2008 right here. He's talking about gay marriage being the union of a man and a woman. But then he quickly pivoted and started propping up gay marriage and eventually pushed that bill on through. So now we have gay marriage legally all over the country, which I really hate using the term gay marriage, because there is no such thing as a marriage that doesn't involve a man and a woman. That's my belief and my faith. Say what you will, just don't call me a hater for feeling how I feel.